because Serie B is it's a wild league and a lot of things go on. So
it's a wild league. Well said. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of. We're gonna laugh a lot about our predictions.
Guaranteed to be wrong. Let's just
absolutely 100%.
Cittadella are the only team in Veneto for this season because Vicenza failed to get promoted. Venezia went up to Serie A.
I would be happy with Carrarese and Reggiana being last and second to last. We are going to be touching upon each and every one of the teams on the league, so stay with us, interact with us, and together we're going to be speaking Serie B. Roma! Welcome to the 9th episode of Speaking Serie B. We're here to talk about what happened on the most recent round 8 and much more, because a lot has happened on round 8. We got some new coaches, coaches leaving some benches, and some coaches that might be leaving some benches soon. And together with me, hosting Speaking Serie B is Jake Iovine of Città Calcio USA. Jake, thank you very much for being here tonight as well. I can't wait to hear what you have to tell us about Cittadella, that is struggling more than anybody, I guess, was expecting. So welcome, and thank you very much for being here with me.
Yeah, thank you, Elia. Happy another Wednesday here, speaking Serie B. Regardless of the result for Cittadella, I think it's still good to talk about the league. And it was funny because I watched like a little bit of your live, and then when you were reading the results, and then you saw the Cittadella and the Cittadella result, and then you were like, oh my God, guys, like you couldn't believe it. And
yeah, I was really disappointed because I cheer for you guys. Come on, I seriously, you're getting more and more involved, and Cittadella, I'm almost a fan by now. So I really enjoy interacting with you, and I support you. So it's normal, I guess, to feel for Cittadella at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not a good situation, but luckily for Cittadella, unlucky for Spezia that the international break is now upon us, and it's it's a good time for Cittadella, but for Spezia, I don't know if it stops the momentum a little bit, because they had once again another win, this time against.
We'll find out once that we're going to be in Salerno with Salernitana, but we're going to be talking about what's going to happen on the next round of Serie B in the next episode of Speaking Serie B next Wednesday at 7 p.m. CET. Now let's talk about the 8th round, and first I want to start by apologizing for our delay. It is all my fault. As almost more all Italian, we like to be fashionably late, but tonight I exaggerated a little bit, so I apologize. A lot of things going on, as anybody has in his life, as you can imagine. We're here sharing our passion, but we don't do this full time just yet, at least. So I apologize. Anyhow, without further ado, tell us what happened. What was it, on Saturday that Cittadella played? And up until the half of the game, you were on the game. What happened then?
Yeah, so it was 1-1 at halftime. From the start of the game, Luca Bagnero, goalkeeper, gave up a sloppy giveaway. Or it was like a loose touch. Mulattieri scored for Sassuolo. Then Alessio Vita, midfielder for Cittadella, scored a unreal goal, volley. I think it was voted best goal of the round for Serie B. So that's something to celebrate. But second half, it went just so badly wrong for Cittadella. 5 unanswered goals. It was like goal after goal after goal. It felt like Sassuolo, just every time they came forward, they'd scored a goal.
So Cittadella just fell apart mentally, I guess.
Yeah, and really, it could have been 8-9-1 in this case.
Wow.
I mean, Sassuolo did miss some chances, and Maniero had to make some saves. But yeah, it was not a good half, and this 6-1 result, it is the worst result in Cittadella's history, professional leagues at least. They had never lost by 5 or more goals. and this surpasses a record that was broken like in 2013. I think it was a 6-2 defeat to Nevada, and so this 6-1 result is even worse than that
Right.
in that game. So it is. If you remember last week, we were talking about Cittadella broke an unwanted record at home. They had gone 11 games without a home win, and that broke a record for
So
like
you keep on breaking records, but they are the wrong one, I guess.
And if you
I'm
remember,
sorry. I mean, you know how I feel about it. It is soccer. Last year, it has been a devastating year for Spezia fan. After the relegation, we almost got relegated again. We almost had a double drop down. So I am involved, emotionally involved, but at the same time, I try to leave it with some detachment. Like, even if we were to get relegated further, I would still be commenting the Spezia games. So I consider it, as I told you privately after the end of the 8th round, it's like watching a movie. You know what I mean? You can't do much about it. Yeah, supporters at the stadium can help the momentum of a game, can help the team once that they are in trouble, mentally supporting them with a not giving up attitude. But there is only so much that we can do. So it's just like watching a game, like watching a movie. Enjoy it for what it is, but in the moment it ends, try to detach from the frustration, from the anger. Don't let it affect you too much. So that's why I comment it always lightly, with a smile on my face. So at least I try, because it's a game after all. So the question at this point, I think it becomes more and more legit. Is Gorini's position at risk?
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to touch upon, because 6-1, worst defeat in history. Then remember, they broke another record, like I said, with the home record. And if you recall, earlier this year they broke a record with 8 straight defeats. It had never happened in history. So yeah, it's definitely been it's been a 2024 to forget. But regarding Gorini, so there was, I mean, like I had never seen Cittadella fall apart like that ever.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the worst game I've ever seen them play. I don't have some other lifelong fans that had watched the team for many more years than me. Probably could debate this topic, but this was really a shocking performance. And
I bet.
Marchetti, the sporting director, said, he was just so confused and like why Cittadella fall this bad, because the spirit of Cittadella, what he was saying is like the main thing is to never give up, to always fight, make it really hard for teams. And they've done that in the past years in Serie B. They might not have the quality as some other players or clubs in the league, but they will make it hard. They will challenge for every ball. They will make you work for the victory. In this Sassuolo game, it just looked like a shadow of themselves there. And a lot of fans, like I had never seen this many fans like be so upset after a game, and they were all calling for Gorini's head after the game. And well, it's Wednesday right now. So
I guess at this point it's understandable. It's something that they were recriminating already in the previous games. The attitude, that's what the supporters are complaining about mainly, the attitude. Please go ahead. Sorry, I just wanted to know that.
It's like I was, just, constantly refreshing the news, trying to find out news. And Padova Sport actually came out with a report yesterday that Gorini looks like he will be staying for at least the international break, because they will take this break, like 15 days or so off, to really meet and regroup and find out what is going on with the team. The club still has a lot of faith in him. The club still trusts him, apparently. That's what the report said. So it looks like he's going to be continuing as the coach of.
So this could be his last chance at this point, though, I assume. Because, I understand, and you explained this in the past, what is the policy of of the team, of the Cittadella brand, basically, which is, I respect it because you need time. You can't just, even Stropa, that has just been sent away from Cremonese, and we'll talk about it. They set certain goals for the season. They're not in the line with the achievement of that, of those results. But for some people, it may be too early to send away the same coach that brought them to the final of the playoffs last season. But with Cittadella, after the streak, yet another record of lost game from the previous season, well, at this point, from an outside view, it looks like Gorini might have lost the hand that he has on the players. My guess, I don't know, by not being so into this Cittadella world.
Yeah, like you said, Cittadella is, it's kind of a unique club in a way because any other club, Guarini would be long gone. He would have been gone probably the year prior or straight after the 8 consecutive defeats. But Cittadella has a way of, really trusting the coach. Really, Guarini has been here for a long time, not only as head coach, but as an assistant coach. He was assistant coach since, I think, 2014 under Venturato until he took his place. And he was a player here as well. So he really knows the club in and out. And I think that's why Cittadella continued with him because
it's part of the culture.
He knows the club. He is
the identity. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the way is that the club really wants to give him time and just build up trust, and I think that's what happens. If 2 years ago when Cittadella almost got relegated, it was Guarini's second season. They had lost 4 straight games without scoring a single goal going into Christmas, and that was after the Gironi di Andata round. They sat 19th in the league with I think only like 19 points. So it was not a good streak, and people were calling for Guarini then. And what the club did was they gave him time. They improved the squad in the winter transfer market, which may have saved the day. But Cittadella ended up surviving, and he led the team to 15th. So I wouldn't say it's over yet. However, it seems like there seems to be a little bit of a tipping point between the fans because they've really had enough. But as from the outside, I don't think we could say like there could be stuff that we don't see because maybe the players like Guarini and they like working for him.
So this is my next question for you, and then I don't want to monopolize the episode all around Cittadella, also because I want to give space to the comments that we are receiving. And I want to start by saying hi to Nicolas Straziotta that says, good afternoon. Welcome back to one of our lives. Thank you for being here, Nicolas. And to the others as we go on. But you watch the game. Does it look like the players are, you can tell when a player is not giving his all. So if that happens, like last season we had Daniele Verde under Albini's guide, it wasn't the Daniele Verde that we were used to see on the pitch, and it was like that even with prior coaches. When they arrived, he gave it his all, and then after a bit, maybe something broke in the relationship. He started to perform worse and worse until a new one came in. Then Luca D'Angelo arrived. He performed amazingly. He was one of the protagonists of Spezia avoiding the relegation last season. But anyhow, you can tell, like, there was the guy from France that then he went to France, the defensive player. I don't remember his name now. He was a great player in Serie A last season. We couldn't get a good performance out of him. Or even the goalkeeper, Drongowski. So you could tell when some player is not giving his all, either because he doesn't want to be there anymore, either because he doesn't believe in the project, or because he doesn't believe in the coach or what the coach has to give to them anymore. So do you see any of these attitude in any of the players of Cittadella when you watched the game?
Well, I think this past game, that was kind of like the concerning part because, like I said, the attitude, the DNA of Cittadella is really to like not give up and to always give 100% regardless of which team you're facing. That that did not look like the case, especially in the second half where they looked completely lost out there and just started just to fall apart and couldn't stop. And that's what Guarini and Marchetti said after the game. That was their most concerning part was, you know, just the attitude was just not there. And it just looked like the players had just stopped trying and it was just not good in that part. I think, also, yeah, no, I've kind of forgot what I was going to say, like again, but yeah, yeah, going back to my point, I think maybe the players do like working for him, and that's why he hasn't gone yet. Maybe
Mhm.
he's just really he's maybe a good guy, and they do like working for him. That game was just not didn't click and whatnot. I think like I said, the issue is not losing. There's no really shame to losing to Sassuolo. They're a really good
No,
side.
no, absolutely,
They have a lot
absolutely.
of great players, but just the way it happened, just the mental collapse, I think was just really the
And
most
I,
concerning
I
part.
assume, listening to you every week, basically updating us about Cittadella's performance in light of the videos that you also shared with me with the supporters that were complaining about this lack of attitude, that is not the first time. I mean, this was just the exclamation mark to, because in light of the del divario, there's so many goals in one single game that probably thought this was the end to it. So it's strange, but I respect the way Cittadella manages the situation, and I honestly hope that you can pivot, that you can turn things around, because
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah,
a pity.
well, this next upcoming game on the 19th against Cosenza, they're saying it's already like uh I don't in Italian you say like scontri diretti, like
Mhm.
direct.
Yes, because Cittadella is at the bottom of the table right now, and we'll
Well,
take a look at the
Cosenza.
table in a second. So it's a
Yeah.
scontro salvezza, as they call it at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. And then the following game away against Carrarese, those are two really important games because they
Right,
need to get
indeed.
at least one win. That's the bare minimum
Absolutely.
and possibly a
Yeah.
draw on that. But if you look forward to the next upcoming games, it just gets harder from there. They got home against Sampdoria, away against Palermo, home against Cesena, and then away at Bari, and then later in November it is at home against Juve Stabia. If you go and even continue in that, they got away against Spezia and then home against Cremonese. So it's definitely this is going
Difficult
to be a
games.
really difficult stretch of games. But I am hoping that this international break kind of is just really important, just to kind of regroup, get together,
It's going
figure
to
out
them to
what's wrong.
reset.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, there's not many players going away for international duty. The only player is Alan Castrati, the goalkeeper for Albania.
Mhm.
So, 99% of the players are going to be staying in Cittadella to really to regroup.
Good, good. So they possono fare quadrato. They can do, square around the
Yeah.
team, the family team,
Yes, apparently
and
there's going to be a meeting this week. That's what the Padova Sport report said.
nice. Thank you for the update. In the meantime, I would like to say hi to Luca Moletta, who's periodically, every week, he's here with us following these lives of ours. And Luca, please feel free to let us know how do you perceive the current situation, and how do you see the attitude of the players? Feel free to answer the same question that I just asked Jake, so that we can compare your opinion, because I know how involved, you told me before, right, Jake, how, he's an expert, Luca, on the field. He's
Yeah,
been following the team for a very
season
long
ticket
time, if I'm
holder.
not mistaken. Say it again?
Yes, season ticket holder. He lives in Cittadella. He
Right.
keeps me updated on all the stadium updates.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm eager to know your opinion, if you'd like to let us know in a comment. Thank you, Luca. So before answering Nicola Latorre, who's asking us if Südtirol could make it to Serie A, let's take a look at the stands to see where Südtirol is currently standing. So first is Pisa, pointing out that they could be at 17 points instead of 19, and that's something that's still not debatable, but how is that proceeding? Because of course it involves Cittadella. Does Cittadella start the process to continue? I don't know the reclam. How would you call it, Jake?
I do think they will go to the CONI, the court of CONI. I think that's the next level of court. But
what is the time frame on
I
that?
don't really know anything new,
Okay.
just because it's been a really bad week for Cittadella, and this is what's all just been in the news with the Sassuolo defeat, and
Right.
So I don't have anything.
Okay.
No.
So as of today, Pisa is leading the board with 19 points, followed by Spezia at 16. And then there is Sassuolo 15 points, Juve Stabia at 14, Brescia 13, Südtirol 12, Cremonese, Cesena, Palermo, Salernitana, Mantova at 11, and then Bari at 10, Modena, Reggiana at 9 points, Sampdoria with Catanzaro with 8 points, Carrarese and Cittadella at 7 points, and then there is Frosinone and Cosenza. Cosenza has 4 points, right?
5 points.
No, 5 points right now. They remove 4 points of penalization,
so
right? 4 points of penalization. Right. Sorry, 4 or 3 points of penalization then.
The question was if Südtirol could go in Serie A.
Right. I just wanted to point out that Cosenza has some points of... Okay, 4 punti, right here. 4 points of penalization for Cosenza. That's what I wanted to point out. Otherwise, they could be right there with Modena and Reggiana. But this is what it is. Anyhow, Südtirol, if Südtirol could make it in Serie A. So at the beginning of the season, in my... how do you call it? Projection, not projection. Predictions. Thank you very much, Jake. In the predictions that we've done here on Speaking Serie B and for even in Italian, in another chat with fans of the Spezia Calcio, the ASC and Co., I consider Südtirol to end in the relegation area. So as of right now, they're proving me wrong big time. Even last season, if I'm not mistaken, they started very well and then they dropped the ball a little bit. So I think that Südtirol, at this point, rearranging my prediction, they might end up not having any issue to avoid relegation, but I would be surprised if they're going to end up in the playoffs spots, simply because although Palermo lost in Palermo with Salernitana, if I'm not mistaken, they're coming from a streak of good results. So I think Palermo eventually will come up. Salernitana is proving that it doesn't have all the issues that I foresaw they would have had after the relegation. And then we have Sassuolo, who's going to be among the protagonists. Pisa, at this point, although they might drop the pace, they're not going to ever lose the first 10 positions, I would assume. Brescia is going to be among the protagonists. So I think there are a lot of teams that are already in a better position, in a better shape, and there might be more teams from the back that are going to be in better shape for the long run of the rest of the tournament, let's say, for the rest of the championship. And Südtirol is not going to have any issues avoiding relegation, but I would be surprised if they're going to achieve playoffs. What's your opinion about it, Jake?
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. I think Südtirol is a pretty solid team. I forgot where I put them in the prediction video, but I think it was actually mid-table, if I recall.
I think you shared the short today, so I can go check. But carry on. I'm gonna check in a second.
They definitely can. They definitely anything could really happen in Serie B. I mean, they said Cittadella couldn't make it to Serie A, yet they were in 2 playoff finals and really only a goal away from achieving that. So I think they will survive. It'll be a question of where they'll finish above. Will they finish like mid-table? Will they playoffs? I think they could definitely, who knows? They could possibly sneak into that 7th or 8th spot, but it'll be interesting to see.
Indeed. So thank you very much, Nicola Latorre, for your question. So can Südtirol go to Serie A? I think financially there are better suited teams, and this is how we see it. So thank you very much. Let us know, what is your thought. Do you think that Südtirol can make it? And proceeding with our Scaletta. How do you call Scaletta, Jake? The line that we have set up for our, the line that, what we prepare for today's episode. Let's get on
Like the
on
agenda.
the agenda. Very good. The
Yeah.
agenda
Well,
of
I wanted
today's
to ask
episode.
you, like, how was the
Go-
Spezia game? Because I was talking a lot about Cittadella. Now let's get into some positivity and let's talk about Spezia's
Yeah,
last
let's
game.
dissect the games of round 8 together. So we're gonna go from La Classifica here to. I'm not very familiar with the website of Lega B because normally I'm using Google. Marcatori. I don't care about Marcatori.
It's
I want to
Calendario
know
on there. Yeah, yeah.
Calendario. There you go. Thank you very much. So this is already Giornata 9. We want to see Giornata 8. Let's start with Sampdoria. Sampdoria, Juve Stabia. I did not see this result coming at all. Juve Stabia is more convincing than ever. I don't know if you watched the game. What are your thoughts on this, Jake?
I only watched a little bit of the second half. Credit to Juve Stabia. They were down 1-0 at halftime and then came back. It was a little sad to see the empty Marassi because I thought that would definitely push on Sampdoria, but then I forgot they were punished for what happened in the Derby della Lanterna. But
Yeah, in
Torre
Coppa
getting the goal,
Italia.
but Juve Stabia scoring 2 quick goals to get the win. So great win for them. They're really having a really strong start to the season.
I did participate to a program, Il Salotto del Calcio, on Monday night, if I remember well. And the guy who was talking about this game, about Sampdoria, was telling us that they have the players, but they are performing like they have good quality players. Sampdoria has good quality players, but they're performing as if they are like too good for the category. Kind of the same issue that Spezia had last season after being relegated. They're not they have to realize that they need to fight on every game for every game, no matter who they're facing. And after leading 1-0 with yet another goal of Coda, they thought that they had it in the bag. And Juve Stabia, being the team that is proving to be, is just not giving up. And they played until the end, and they rightfully and they deserved, they reached the win. So good for them. Surprising result. Actually, as we do this, we can actually check out our result already. What do you think to gain some time?
Sure. Yeah. Or we could
just do the prediction.
We could go through all these results and then switch back.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. It's easier. It's probably easier also for the graphic. Good point. Okay, so next game was Frosinone Carrarese. Surprisingly, another game scontro salvezza, because Frosinone is really at the bottom of the table, as we saw earlier. And Frosinone lost a home game with Carrarese. That's I think now at 7 points. So they might have more cards to play than we thought. So what do you think?
Frosinone missed a penalty just before Carrarese took the lead. It's really not a good situation at Frosinone. It's I think they are going to be kind of like Spezia of last season, where it's going to be really close until the end of just surviving. I heard Vivarini is really under pressure there, so
right,
it's
that's
going
what
to be
I heard
interesting
too.
to see if he survives, because it's just been a really poor start to the season for Frosinone. But congrats to Carrarese getting their first away win of the season.
Indeed. And here we have another bench at risk, as you were saying. Vivarini might not eat the panettone, as we say. So we'll see. Good luck, because I like the guy. He did great in Catanzaro. But, this is a new story now. Pisa 3, Cesena 1 is the next game, with Pisa coming back after the loss with Juve Stabia. And this time they did face another newly promoted team, but they did not let them have the best of them, proving that they're going to be protagonists this season. So this is a good, convincing win in the Arena Garibaldi for Pisa. And good on them. Jake?
Yeah, another good win for Pisa. It's, if you want to get to Serie A, I think you got to win your home games, and that's what Pisa are doing right now. 4 wins, 1 draw at home. It's another convincing win against a good Cesena team, where we're talking about, they were really been a strong team, probably one of the best newly promoted teams. I mean, Juve Stabia might have a word there, but just really proving themselves. Good win for Pisa. Nothing really more I could say.
Right. I'm just looking at the stats and I'm just impressed. Look at the possesso palla, ball possession, 62.7 for Cesena, and look at the passes, 418 to 213. Like, Pisa just let them do their game and then they scored. That's cool. I mean, this is Serie B, guys.
This is football in a nutshell. I mean, you could have all the possession you want, but
Indeed.
At the end of the day, you got 3 goals on the board. So
that's it.
Who's really complaining there?
Right. So then we have Sassuolo 6, Cittadella 1, which we thoroughly talked about. Probably one of the most interesting game and fun with the amount of goals. Of course, not for Cittadella's fan.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that game anymore.
Yeah, right. The next one is Spezia Reggiana 1-0. So Spezia remains the only undefeated team, not only of the Serie B league, but I think also in Serie A, like in Italy, in the first major leagues, if I'm not mistaken. We are the only team that is yet to lose a game, and knocking on wood, will keep on that way with this perfect English average, winning the games at home and drawing abroad. The game has not been a fascinating one by any mean. It has been a typical Serie B game, very muscular, a lot of falli, a lot of faults. We played calcio, meaning that we were kicking each other more than the ball. There were a lot of simulations, especially in the second half of the game. The way I dissected the game was that Spezia was able to control the game for mainly the first half of it. We didn't have many occasions, but we were able to monetize yet another palla inattiva. So we scored with basically one of the very few, actually, let's take a look at the stats. The very few opportunities that we created, which is something that we weren't used to do in the past. Yet again, Francesco Pio Esposito that scored the 4th goal of this season. Last season, in the entire season, he scored 3 goals, and this season he has already scored 4, proving that he's really growing mentally, and as he did already physically. So he's in great shape, and it is among the Spezia players that got called by the national team, the under-21, together with Nicolò Bertola. So ball possession is pretty close, but in the second half of the game, Vialli redesigned basically Reggiana, and we faced a completely different team. They had a very good, character. They didn't give up until the end, and that's what made the victory even more important, a crucial victory, because for the first time we did gain the lead, and we were able to maintain it without avoiding to the other team to score against us. So it was a very convincing performance by Spezia that proved to be able to maintain the result even with hard games such as this one, because again, it was a very physical game in the second half. Reggiana even hit the post. So although I support Spezia and I'm glad we won, probably Reggiana was more deserving of a draw as a result, but that is what made the win for Spezia even more important, even more crucial. So it was a very, not dirty, man, a brutta partita, an ugly game, and you gotta win these ones because, as you said, you gotta win the games at home if you want to be among the protagonists of the season. Nothing else to add. I've even talked too much about it, I guess. So let us know what are your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, this was to be a good team, I think you got to win games like this. You can't always be, it can't always be really pretty football and
right,
like 3-0. I think you just got to kind of grind these games out. So well done to you guys.
I'll take it. Thank you. As long as it's last, I'm happy. Every time, they ask me, do you think that this is the right year? We just reached the result of consecutive positive results as we did the year that we got promoted. So guys, let's enjoy for what it is until it lasts. Let's not ask ourselves too many questions. We'll see what happens one game at a time. Everything goes through avoiding relegation. First, we got to save ourselves, and then we can achieve playoffs or maybe promotion. We'll see it a game at a time. A game at a time. So far, so good. Let's enjoy it until it lasts. 2-2 is the result of Catanzaro Modena. I did not watch it. I don't have much to say about it. I actually heard part of the journalists talking about it after on Sunday. I was guest at 90° Minuto Special, which is another show. And the journalist from Modena said that they played the kind of football that you don't expect anything else from Bisoli, I guess, but that they used to see play like in the 70s. Modena was leading, and then they started to defend the result, and they ended up getting an equalizer. So this is not the kind of football that they would like to see played in Modena, and they regret drawing this game after they were leading it. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the game, as I didn't watch it. Jake?
Yeah. Just quickly, I don't know if I'm kind of buffering in and out. I think I don't know.
I hear you very well.
Your audio keeps cutting out, but I think it's okay. I think
okay, I'm sorry.
Viewers will have no problem. But yeah, this was a pretty decently good game. Both teams taking the lead one another. Modena can't keep it on because Catanzaro scored in the 89th minute. So I guess it's a fair draw for both. I think I did predict a draw on this, so
we'll check it out. We'll check it out shortly, indeed. So let's move on. Yeah, just wanted to end the stats, and let's move on to the next game, which is Cosenza Südtirol. So this is a very bad loss for the Wolves, not only because it's yet another loss in their home field, but because they were one player more, because Südtirol, although they were already 1-0, they then lost a player, and Alvini's guys were not able to score an equalizer. And at the end, Südtirol actually doubled the score with one player less. So we talked about the fact that Vivarini might be at risk. We talked briefly about the fact that Stroppa has been sent away. We talked thoroughly about Gorini's position, but yet again, Alvini is not sitting on a comfortable position. Jake?
Yeah, this is, Südtirol got a red card in the second half. I'm going to search it up actually. But I think this was a much needed win for Südtirol. They were coming off of, 4 out of the 5 games were losses. So this was a pretty big win. Also considering it was just, long travel down to Cosenza, not an easy place to play. So, but this really makes way for a really important match on the 19th between Cittadella and Cosenza. I know it's only 8 games in, or this will be the 9th game of the season, but still, it's going to be really important for both sides to get something from that game.
Right. Look at this, Jake. 9 tiri di testa, 9 conclusion, 9 headers, I guess you call them.
Wow.
42 crosses for Alvini's team. What I heard the supporters saying is that they're complaining. Exactly. They're complaining that they're creating a lot of occasions, but the president sold to Tino and other key players, and now they don't have strikers who can convert all the opportunities that Alvini is teaching his guys how to create. So it's not all Alvini's fault. I didn't hear many supporters complaining about the team performances. Just he has to play with what he has. Look, 8 corners against 0. Like, he's doing the best with what he has, I guess. Possession is 65%. So looking at the stats, you can tell Cosenza clearly dominated this game, but they weren't able to get anything out of it. So good on Südtirol. And I do invite Nicola Latorre, if he's still with us, to let us know because I assume he's supporting Südtirol, what he thinks about this game, if he has watched it, and how he sees what we're saying about it. So I invite you to interact, please.
This Cosenza performance, doesn't it sound familiar to Spezia last season with all
Indeed,
these shots, all
that's
the
what I
possession,
said.
nothing.
Yeah. I think that is players' issues, though, because we didn't have this situation only under Alvini's guidance, but it was the same also under Gotti. We had a bunch of opportunities, a bunch of crosses, and our players just did not see the goal. So it is a tricky game. It's a simple game, but it is tricky. Next game is Cremonese-Bari, 1-1, and this is what costed Stroppa's bench not winning a home game with Bari. I can't say that I'm surprised because Cremonese clearly stated that they want to achieve Serie A, but after all, they didn't lose. So I could foresee the sacking of the coach, but maybe not after a draw with Bari. After all, Bari is a good team. So your thoughts, Jake?
And also considering that Cremonese are still 7th in Serie B with 11 points, that's much better than what Cittadella is at. But this really kind of explains, the two different, mindsets,
mentalities. Very valid point, right?
The two clubs. I mean, I know Cremonese and Cittadella are two very different clubs. In terms of financially and, in terms of, the history, but still, it's kind of, I was a little shocked that Stroppa got the sack just considering the job he did last season. But now they have Corini in charge, which, if you remember last year with Palermo, it was just kind of a nightmare. So that'll be very interesting to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, best of luck. Best of luck. Not that I particularly sympathize for Cremonese, but anyhow. Next game is Mantova-Brescia. Now, this is another one of those results that I did not foresee. I mean, Brescia seemed to be very convincingly becoming at least a rullo compressore after winning with Cremonese, if I'm not mistaken. And then they drew away with Mantova, which proving itself to be a solid team from those newly promoted, but I didn't think they would have been. I don't remember what I predicted, but I'm not sure I predicted a draw between these two teams. Your thoughts?
I think I did predict a draw.
Because you're awesome.
I did say that Brescia were a difficult team to play, but Mantova they're proven to be really strong at home. So I didn't see.
Look at the ball possession.
I did see a draw. Wow, yeah, 70% possession. That's a lot for Mantova, but yeah, I think this was just another good result. Mantova in recent times, it's been kind of up and down, win, loss. So, I think they'll definitely take a draw against Brescia in this case.
Indeed. All right, good on them. And then the final game of round 8, sorry?
Oh, yeah. I was just, it seemed to be, I don't know if Brescia sees this as 2 points lost or 1 point game because they did concede kind of a late goal there. But, I think it's a fair draw for both.
I see. And then the last game of round 8, I actually did watch a bit of this for several reasons. And it is Palermo-Salernitana 0-1. So I watched it because Salernitana is going to be the next opponent of Spezia when the break ends in Salerno, and because I was interested in seeing if Maggiore was part of Salernitana, because now they say that he's injured, but he wasn't really, he's not really injured yet. He wasn't on the bench, and I wanted to see how Daniele Verde was performing. I must say that Salernitana deserved the win for how they prepared the game. I watched most of it, although I wasn't entirely on it, and you could tell that they strategized to let Nicolao, yet another ex-Spezia player, enforce with Palermo, leading the structure, the maneuver. It was basically the playmaker of Palermo. And he's not that great at creating the game. So Salernitana was pressing and closing all the potential draw lines, but they weren't pressing when Nicolau was in possession. And that's one of the reasons, I guess, why Palermo underperformed on this game, and the supporters weren't happy at all about this loss with Salernitana on their home, at home. So I'm surprised by the result, but I must say that Salernitana deserved the win after watching it. Jake.
Yeah, this is a really important win for Salernitana. They had been struggling going to this game, only 2 wins, one of them coming against Cittadella. So this was just a very, I think, important win going away against Palermo. Getting a clean sheet too. But this still proves Palermo's difficulties because, I'm looking, they played 3 home games now without a single win. Contrast that to on the road, they've had 3 wins. On the road, but only 2 points at home. Those 2 draws, only 1 goal scored. So I don't know if this is just becoming a theme or it's just bit of a slow start for Palermo, but we'll definitely see. But I think it's a really important solid win for Salernitana.
Indeed, absolutely. They performed well. They faced an important team, one of the better equipped, I guess, for the season.
And now the next game against Spezia, that's kind of a rematch of the Coppa Italia game that ended. Now you were in the Stadio Orecchi.
Exactly. They told me one of the supporters that I had the possibility to chat during one of these programs that I was guest in, that compared to the game of the Coppa Italia game, Salernitana has a completely different squad. They changed a lot of players, so we're not facing the same team, but we'll see. It's going to be a nice game for sure.
Yeah, expected because it was the first week of August and transfer market still hasn't been closed, so I definitely expected that to happen. So
we'll see. Let's move towards the end of our episode tonight, taking a look at what were our predictions and see the results of our game. So we ended round, let me see, the mouse is playing some tricks on me, sorry. So this is the end of the standings after round 7. We were 26-26, and we made this game really exciting, by drawing at the end of round 7. So as far as round 8 goes, I'll let you read it, otherwise I'm talking too much. And this is what happened on round 8. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, so Juve Stabia getting the win. None of us predicted this, so no points for any of us. Sassuolo Cittadella, Sassuolo getting the win. Elia, you did predict this. I said it was going to be a draw. That did not happen. And Elia, you said it was going to be a win, but I don't think we expect it to be that kind of win for Sassuolo. But Pisa, Cesena, let's see. You did say Cesena was going to get the win. I did say Pisa, so 1 point for me. That was an interesting call by Elia.
I was very optimistic predicting Cesena.
Well, that's Pisa getting the win there. Frosinone, Cardarese getting the win. We both expected Frosinone to wake up, but once again, it's another week without them.
It surprised us both, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. Spezia Reggiana, this was a point for both of us. We did say that Spezia was going to win. They continue that home form.
So let me do this. Since no, I removed it because I remember you didn't like them. Never mind. I wanted to say, all right, but I removed it because it was too loud. And you're right. And yeah, Spezia Reggiana, we both got this. Next, go ahead.
Mantova Brescia, I said it was going to be a draw. I was correct.
Right.
Like I said a few moments ago. You said it was going to be a Mantova win. So
you see, I just said that I did not see Mantova winning against Brescia, and then I didn't remember that I predicted it. So that's awesome.
That's crazy. But that's 3 points already for me in this round. Cosenza Südtirol. We did not expect a Südtirol victory. Both of us not predicting that. You said it was a Cosenza win. I said a draw. 0 points for each. Palermo Salernitana. For some reason, I did say that Salernitana was going to win. I think this was kind of my shock result of the
Mhm.
match day. We always put a shock result, but you said it was going to be a Palermo win, so another point for me in the bet.
Yeah, in the second half they played a better game, but Salernitana just didn't let them bother them too much. They didn't create any clear opportunity to score, so non li hanno mai impensieriti. They never gave them any issues. So Salernitana was a solid performance. Go ahead.
Catanzaro, Modena, we both agree on this, and we did get both 1 point each because Catanzaro did equalize, so 2-2. And then finally, Cremonese Bari, we both agreed on this. We both said Bari was gonna win. They were leading for a little bit, but it ended in a draw, which ultimately costed Giovanni Stroppa his job. So 0. And the final results is 5-3 in favor of Cheetah Calcio USA. So I
Good
take the
job,
lead.
Jake. So this is the current table. 31-29. You're taking the lead by 2 points.
This is the little victory that Cittadella gets this week.
Right. Anyhow, at this point, normally we're making the predictions on the next round. But since we're going to be live like every Wednesday, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. CET, remain with us and, we'll talk. There is a comment actually. And next week, we'll share with you the predictions on round 9. Luca Moletta writes, congratulations, Jakes, for taking the lead. Indeed. Congratulations, Jake.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Luca. This is our little joy for that Sassuolo defeat. So it's really the score now is 6-2. So we scored a goal in stoppage time to make it 6-2.
Anyhow, Jake, if you want to remind us where we can find your content, and then we'll see you next week.
Yeah. So you could find us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Cheetah Calcio USA, podcast, Cheetah Calcio USA, show on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find it. I'm going to be recording soon. You do not want to miss that game because I'm going to go much more in depth into that Sassuolo 6-1 defeat on Saturday, the worst in Cittadella's history. So be sure to tune into that one. So, but yep, for now, that's where you can find us: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Cheetah Calcio USA, as well as cheetahcalciousa.com for articles, news, recaps, all that stuff.
Awesome. And you can find all the links in the description to this video, to this live. As far as I'm concerned, I do invite you to subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. The majority of our content is on this YouTube channel, Elia, the Italian guy, or if you're watching it from Cheetah Calcio USA YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe to that as well, or on TikTok as Speziato and Instagram as Speziato. Guys, thank you very much for being with us tonight as well. We really appreciate your time and your increasing interactions. We do invite you to take part of the next live as every Wednesday at 7 p.m. CET, where we're going to be making our predictions on the next round 9th of the Serie B league. So stay with us and we will be speaking Serie B. Jake, thank you again.
Thank you, Elia. I'll see you after the international break.
Indeed.